I mean, I don't want to come across as like I'm trying to be a celebrity or come across I'm promoting something. I don't know what you're doing. So what brings you by?
I it's always nice to take a little stroll in Kahala. So I'd say, I don't know. I had the day off. I didn't have to work today, so I was able to come do this. And my student that I'm usually with is having a procedure, so I hope that goes well for him. And yeah, I freed up my schedule. How's your schedule been lately?
Seems to be opening up a lot. I keep thinking of something to do, and I try it out, and then you hit a roadblock, and then it's just do you keep pushing? It just seems like if I'm trying to force something to happen, from what I've learned is that you're just setting yourself up to have to keep it going. It can't live on its own. So you know, like what am I making so much of an effort to make something happen if it's not going to be able to keep going unless I'm sacrificing myself. It's like I like something to emerge and to where it fits. It's like part of the flow.
For it to come about naturally.
Yeah, and so I don't know. And so I give up, and then I think it's really weird. I'll be thinking, well, there's just no point going on. But then several hours later, I'll turn around. I'll be thinking, hey, wait a minute. There's something else maybe I could try. I'll try that tomorrow or something. But it's just I get nowhere.
I find that in my work a lot. Like I always say, working with kids is a puzzle. You get you feel like one day you feel like you're so stumped and you can't figure it out, and you're never going to figure it out. You go home, you watch some TV, or you sleep on it. You come back to it, and then it reveals what the right next step is. The next piece of the puzzle reveals itself, and so we get so hard on ourselves when we can't figure it out in the moment. And it's like,
Yeah.
walk away, come back later, give it some time, and you'll be amazed at how things work themselves out.
That's the thing. It's just that moment that it just seems like it might as well all be over. But you give it enough time, it's like, gee, why was it even thinking that way?
Why are we stressing?
Yeah, it's like but that's just what you got to do is either get your mind off of it, and then it'll be in a different mindset, and everything will be fine. But then the other thing is, it's like, well, now it's the next day, and I'm still not any further along. So what was the
That
whole
happens
point?
too. That happens
What
too.
was the whole point of going on? So I don't know anymore. I've given up as of a couple of days ago. I finally just gave up on the computer medium after
On your website and everything.
it's everything through the computers. It's just I've been too far. It's just amazing. Like a year goes by, I got so unfamiliar with it. I'm trying to get back into it, and I can, but it's just no purpose. It's like what I realized. It's like you want to learn a computer language, have a project, and then that gives you the opportunity to apply that computer language to make a computer program. If you don't have a project, the best you got is a tutorial, but that's not personal. If you got a personal project, that's what's going to get you to learn it. And I got nothing right now because, well, computers belong indoors, out of the dust, away from the rain.
But you said you're giving up on computers. So
Pretty much.
what do you think? What's next for you then?
That's the thing. I've always kind of wondered that. It's like, what if I did? What would I do? Because I lost all my other interests. You don't have the resources for it. And it came down to my final two interests, which was my first two in life, I think. Personal health and well-being. And computers just happened to jump into, be part of my life early on, just as I was still getting taller. Had an uncle who was in computers, and I think he is how we got one of those home computers. I looked at the
What year is this?
This was in the 80s.
And
And
you had a computer in the 80s?
yeah, I know. I'm looking at the
So
history
you were-
recently. I looked at the history recently, and what I found out recently is that the computer he had was from a company that went bankrupt a few years before. So I'm thinking, the uncle who was into computers got a really good deal on a computer from a company that had gone bankrupt.
There it is.
And because it said it was a few $100s, like, there's no way my family could have afforded that. Maybe the uncle. So I got introduced to basic programming early on, and I don't think I was even 10 yet. But it was just pure chance. But this was also when computers were being gradually introduced into schools. And so ever since then, it's just been, an interest.
Yeah, you've been good at it. You've been, because you were,
Well,
you had a head start.
A little bit, but you don't do anything with it for a while, but it's still there. It keeps pinging you, and so I stayed with it. And when I got into computers, there were computer games, and it just didn't get my interest. Because what is a computer game? What is a game? It's a computer program that purposely impedes your progress. And I was into writing programs that would make things easier to do. But we were into computers, and so we had signed up for temp agencies to get a job that way with computers. And I ended up getting a job for HAL Computer Systems Incorporated, HAL, HAL.
Okay.
2001, Space Odyssey. Yeah. Guess, and then the company shut down in 2001. So it's this great joke that's having that experience. It's like, wow, I should have seen this one coming. I'd only worked for 9 months. It's like, okay, well, we're one of 500 subsidiaries of Fujitsu, and they don't need us anymore. It's like, oh, I just signed on the very end of the life of that, and so that was the nice thing too.
But you're also a writer. You like writing, because that's what your website is about, right? Writing about your experiences.
Well, I write down my notes, like what am I thinking, what not, because it helps to review and say and figure, note.
That's such an interesting combination of skills, because it's like engineers usually wouldn't be like a writer, you'd think.
That's the trouble with computers, whatnot. People don't seem to want to comment their code, and it's like you're supposed to start with what you want to do, then you convert that to code, and when you do it that way, there's a lot less code written. But instead,
I could never do anything.
Instead, they write the instructions first, instead the computer instructions, because they don't want to write out where they're going with it, and that makes sense, because usually what you're starting with is you got something you want to do, and you just put something together to automate that, and so you don't really have a big thing in mind. But when it grows from there, that's where we're at right now. We have all these computer programs that nobody can manage. We have no refinement. And so that's anyway, I can go on about that. I don't want to.
So if you're done with computers, then what's next for you?
Yeah.
Take your time.
It was only a couple of days ago, pretty much. But I kept doing this. It's been more than once, I guess, where I tried to let go of computers. At this point, though, every time it's been just, and I can get back into it, but who wants me to? At some point, I was waiting to see if there was somebody I could help out or whatever, but nobody wants any help along the lines that I can help out.